Good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss on why learning SAP FI is much easier than learning SAP CO. FI means financial accounting, CO means controlling, or you can say cost accounting and management accounting. Before I get into the topic, it is my humble request to all of you that kindly watch this video till the very end, like this video, subscribe this YouTube channel, share this video in your network, put up your comments if you have any query, any question, any kind of confusion or any kind of clarity you are looking at. Put up your question in the comment section of this video. I will definitely reply you on that. Do not worry at all. And before wasting any time further, let's proceed. So this is the content of this video. I have kept it short and sweet. In terms of SAP FI introduction, we will see at a very high level. CO introduction also we will see at the very high level. The differences between FI and CO also we will see. Learning of SAP FI module, learning of CO module, the difference between learnings of SAP FI and CO modules, and finally we will end up this video with conclusion. So these are our topics which we are going to cover up as part of this video. Moving next. So SAP FI introduction. As you all know, SAP FI stands for the financial accounting. It is used to record the day-to-day business transactions, whatever the business transactions like invoices, payments, uh, asset related transactions, any kind of equity transactions, bad debts, customer transactions, vendor transactions, asset transactions, any kind of things. So whatever things are there, it gets recorded, and it also generates various kinds of reports for external and internal stakeholders. Now these reports can be related to your balance sheet, profit and loss account, fund flow statement, any kind of GL balances, customer balances, vendor balances, asset reports, any kind of compliance reports, and then there are so on. The list is very long. Even tax related reports also can be generated out of it. Now coming to what all the important components SAP FI has. So it has the basic settings. The basic settings includes your setting up of your org structure, the global parameters, the processing parameters, and all the related stuff before you start actually able to do the posting in the SAP GL accounts. So initially around 22 steps are there which you have to configure. They are all part of your basic settings. Then you have general ledger, you have account receivable, accounts payable, asset accounting, bank accounting, funds management, investment management, REFX module, and then there are a couple of others as well. This is not the entire exhaustive list of whatever comes under SAP FI, because as I say, SAP FI also is very big by default. Now moving next, SAP controlling or the CO introduction. It is used to manage the cost and profit of the company or the client. Various kinds of reports or cost objects are generated for the management team of the company to take the day-to-day and sometimes even the strategic decisions for the company. Now remember one thing here, what is very important is SAP CO most of the time do not receive the first hand values on their cost objects. They always receive either second hand values on the cost objects or the derived values via any kind of financial transaction. They derive the values from there itself. We input those cost objects into the transactions, and that is how they receive the values. So this is how usually all the controlling objects, irrespective of whether it is cost center, profit center, then your internal order, product costing, costing sheet, and lot of other things are also there. So all these things receive the value in this fashion. You do not directly post anything to the cost center. Direct posting usually you don't do. So always indirect postings are more or derived postings are more. Now coming to the important components of SAP controlling. This also has basic settings like your controlling area, the related settings of the controlling area, then operating concern setup if you are using COPA. COPA is a submodule where you need to set up the operating concern in the SAP system, and this operating concern setup you need to get it activated before you actually start using it. If you are not planning to use COPA in your current client, then operating concern setup is not mandatory at all. Only controlling area is a good enough for your day-to-day work. But if you are planning to have your COPA, then operating concern you will have to set up, because the COPA is the one which derives values from across modules to generate the various kind of reports based on the functionality which we have configured in the COPA module. So important components are basic settings, as I said. Then we have cost element accounting, cost center accounting, profit center accounting, internal order, product costing, MTS, MTO, and various other scenarios with regard to the product costing. So all these things will form under your controlling module. Moving next. Now in this slide we will see what are the basic and important differences between FI and CO module. So by default or by nature, SAP FI is meant for the external reporting and SAP CO is meant for the internal reporting. If you see in the SAP FI side, you have GL and subledgers. Here, subledger, what I mean by that is your customers, vendors, asset accounting, all these are basically your subledgers. Then in the controlling side, you have lot of cost objects like cost center, profit center, internal order. Sometimes even WS elements also can be used as a cost object. Sales order can be used as a cost object. Production order can be used as a cost object. And then there are so on. As I said, CO does not derive values just from the CO side. It derives values from various modules. Now third difference is SAP FI is a stand-alone module. That means you can learn this entire SAP FI module on an independent basis. It does not have too much dependency on the other modules. If you want to learn along with other modules, that also is possible. But if you want to learn only SAP FI, that also is possible. And that is why I said it is possible to learn SAP FI on stand-alone basis. But when it comes to the CO, it is highly integrated with lot of other modules like SD, MM, PP, PS, and FI and others. Since it is highly integrated module with lot of other things, and because of that learning CO becomes little bit more complex, difficult, and more time consuming and energy consuming module basically, as it is highly integrated. Particularly your product costing and COPA, these two are really very complex in learning by nature. Then SAP FI is used to generate the financial statements of the company, whereas SAP CO is used for the various cost object related reports. Like if you want to know the cost center level reporting, profit center level reporting, segment level reporting also, and remember that segment is being mapped in your profit center. Same way you want to COPA reports and other things, profitability related reports, so everything will come under your CO side. Now SAP FI is basically linked to your accounting principles all kind of your IFRS, US GAAP, IN GAAP, and there are many others. So SAP FI follows your accounting principles, whereas SAP CO tells you how to plan for your cost, how is your actual cost, and what is the variance, whether it is positive variance or whether it is a negative variance. So basically, to have a control on day-to-day operations of the cost and revenue of the company, you use this plan, actual and variance, and that is how it is. Now SAP FI is basically focused on recording and reporting the business transactions, whereas the focus of CO is controlling the cost and improving the profits of the company. SAP FI is meant for the legal compliance to meet all the legal obligations, reporting obligations, whereas SAP CO is actually focusing on overall the value enhancement of the company. It does not say only the legal compliance part. Legal compliance is also there, but that is not the sole focus. The sole focus is overall value of the company, how this can be improved. That is what SAP CO actually focus on. So these are the important differences between FI and CO. Moving next. So in terms of learning SAP FI, what all important things are there that we are going to see in this particular slide. So SAP FI we can learn on stand-alone basis. It is easy to learn with simple concepts. All you need to do is to understand the concept, understand the logic behind it, and you should also know what is the functionality, what is the feature this particular concept has, and how it is going to work in the system. Then it does not have any direct dependency on other modules for the learning purpose, and that is why it is a standalone module. Then it can be implemented very easily, does not have too many difficulties, whether it is in the ECC system or S4 HANA system, it does not matter. You can comfortably implement it in the system, and you can use it in your dummy system as well for your learning purpose. Then you also need to have exposure to the financial accounting. That means all the accounting terminologies you should be aware of, like debit, credit, golden rules of accounting, various kinds of accounts, various kind of terms used in the accounting work, like invoices, payments, GL vouchers, ledgers, and so on. The list is very long, so I am not going to into detailing of it. Then the important org structure components, particularly from the SAP FI, would be your company, company code, and the business area. These three are the most important one in terms of the org structure from the SAP FI side. Moving next, learning CO module. So as I said, and I am repeating again and again because this is what it is. Highly integrated module is SAP CO. It is very typical to learn, and it has a lot of complex concepts to understand, and that is why most of the people, even if they get a chance to learn it, they hesitate to learn it, or rather they avoid to learn it, or sometimes they feel it is too difficult to learn. The reason is it is really very typical to learn. It is not so simple one. Then it is highly dependent on other modules data, basically your product costing and the COPA. These two submodules of SAP CO derives most of its data from SD, MM, PP, PS, QM, EWM, and including FI. They derive their personal data, they don't use much. They use all the data derived from various other areas. The implementation of SAP CO module is really very complex. And remember, once you set it up, making changes in the existing setup is again even more difficult. It is even more difficult. So, and remember, SAP CO is one such module where each component can be used into too many different ways. So which way client wants, that way you will have to set up in the SAP CO module. similar approach is usually not followed in the SAP FI, and because of that reason, the different kind of businesses needs different kind of setup to be done in the system, and accordingly that has to be maintained in the system. If it is a manufacturing based company, the setup would be different. If it is a service based company, the setup would be completely different. So that need to be taken care of. Anybody who wants to learn SAP CO must be having good knowledge on cost and management accounting from the background perspective or knowledge perspective. It is very important. And the two most important org structure being used in the SAP CO module is controlling area and operating concern. Remember, out of these two, controlling area is a must. Without that, your CO module cannot survive. It cannot start, rather, I will say. But operating concern is optional. If you are using COPA, you will create it. If you don't need COPA, you can just exclude it. You can just ignore it. So this is how it works. Moving next. The difference between learning of SAP FI and learning of SAP CO. So FI can be learned on standalone basis. For SAP CO, learning cannot be done on standalone basis. That is not possible. Why? Because it is much more integrated module compared to SAP FI. Remember, one more important thing is SAP CO has much more business scenarios when you compare it with SAP FI. I am not saying SAP FI does not have business scenarios or the various kind of typical scenarios, but CO, when you compare with FI, has much more than that. Then SAP CO also is more integrated when you compare with SAP FI, and these are some of the basic reasons or the reasons because of which, even if you search in the job market or in the real time experience people, you will get many people who have good experience in SAP FI, but getting a real core experience in SAP CO or getting a truly CO consultant is really difficult. If you are good in CO, you will be paid more price. I mean, you will get a better rate in the market as well. You can ask for the better compensation also if you are really good at CO side, because demand of CO never dies. This is day by day, it is increasing only, it is not going down at all. So if you are good at it, then you can literally demand better packages as well. And always try to learn. I will tell you one of my experience. I am one such person who regularly keeps on taking interviews for all these things. Even in SAP FI, people do not learn lot of things, particularly asset accounting and few other areas people don't pay attention to at all. I do not understand why. What stops them to learn? What stops them to explore on their own and do some learning and do some practice in the dummy system? Remember one thing, if you don't learn, you will be thrown out of the company very soon. It will be sooner than your expectation. Already many people have lost their job because of that nature and behavior. You also want to join the queue, it is your personal choice. But my suggestion to all of you is, please learn whatever comes in your way. Not necessary that it is only related to FI and CO. Even if you want to learn learn it. PS, learn it. PP, learn it. It will help you. It will help you in resolving lot of issues. Lot of concept you will understand better than others. And that is what will make you valuable in your organization. Because of that only you can demand better money also, people will pay you or client will pay you because of your experience. So it is always good to have as many knowledge as possible. It is very important. Now moving next. Now we have come to the conclusion of this video. So as I said and repeated many a times, I am repeating one last time here is SAP CO is more complex by nature when you compare it with FI. It needs more effort to learn and master the skill. The more you practice, the better you will become. And remember, as it is more integrated, so to learn CO, you have to learn at least 5-6 more modules also. You cannot learn CO in isolation, not possible. You need to be good at FI, MM, SD, PP, PS, QM, EWM, and maybe one or two more. These many modules are actually needed for SAP CO to master. SAP FI is simple to run when compared to SAP CO, but remember, as I said, this also needs considerable time and effort to master it. And try to cover up as many areas as possible. Do not restrict your learning. It will hit you really very hard if you do that. So please stay away from stagnant knowledge level. Keep learning something new on a daily and regular basis, and do not forget whatever you have learned. If you forget it, it will hit you very hard in the interview. I have already seen many such examples where people with many years of experience also are failing to answer some of the basic level questions. Concepts are not something which you can afford to forget, or you cannot afford to leave it. You will have to keep it in your mind all the time. There is no exception to it. With that, I have come to the closure of this video. If you have any question, if you have any query, if you have any kind of issue you want to have clarity, please put up your comments in this video section, or you can also send an email on the given mail ID. With this, now I have come to an end. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Kindly like this video, subscribe this YouTube channel, share this video in your network, and let others also know that this place they can get most of their doubts clarified. With that, now I close this video. Thank you so much once again. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.